Chapter 3. Courtier commanders who rely on their eyes alone will fail. You must use all your faculties to plan, assess, and execute. Even your dreams. Cleric Joran, Advanced Courtier Military Tactics, Volume 2. Stacia kept one eye on the eagle's nest as she hid in the alley across the street. The rain had just stopped, leaving a musty smell that mingled with the refuse littering the street. The avenue bustled before her as hawkers yelled, urchins begged, and nobles passed through, with the typical morning traffic found in a major Courtier city. Sheep. They had no concept of what existed beyond their borders, just as she had not understood centuries ago. Stacia monitored the area in her hooded and tattered grey tunic and threadbare pants, which provided scant protection, but rendered her almost invisible in this part of Dale. Her mission required low visibility, but she also had no desire to attract the unwanted attention that poor women on the street often encountered. She could handle it, but killing Courtiers was more hassle than it was worth. Scanning the street and alley, she felt confident no one had marked her as she waited. 2 years. She had spent 2 years back in her home country to complete this mission. Gaining trust was essential, and finding the right target had been tedious. Thankfully, Garol had found her in Aloa, and she had served him without fault. At some point in her life, she might have felt shame at what she was about to do. But not today. When Garol emerged from the restaurant, he found her in the prearranged spot and barely nodded. That was all she needed. She sprinted away, down the alley. 3 blocks, right turn, 4 more blocks, left turn. She hugged the walls, moving silent and quick before turning down one last alley. A broad-shouldered figure rested against a tavern's back wall. He had not bothered to conceal himself or display any legitimate reason to be there. Stacia rolled her eyes at his incompetence. The assassin shouted his amateur ability with his dark green cloak over a black leather jerkin and pants. The guy was trying too hard. Stacia refrained from frowning, as she still needed him. His demeanor and stance didn't impress her, but he should be able to get the job done. Anvil, is it? He barely nodded. Garol approved. The girl should be in the carriage. Take her. The quon may be with her. Kill him. Anvil pulled back his green hood, revealing pockmarked olive skin, a Talonian from southwestern Courtier. A hesitant, scratchy voice responded, "Only supposed to be the girl. Message said nothing about the quon. Garol wanted this." Yes, his meeting went worse than expected. He never mentioned it. Why should I believe you? He pulled his hood back up, turned back down the alley, and walked away. She removed a small purse from beneath her tattered tunic. She unwound the leather binding and jingled the coins. This is necessary to Garol. The man stopped and turned back. After a moment, he stepped forward and placed his hand under the purse. Stacia dropped it. Gold Courtier crown spilled into his hand. He hefted the purse a few times. For a quon, I want this doubled when I complete the job. I will triple this if you are successful. The purse disappeared under his cloak. Triple it is. He pulled his hood around his head and left down the alley. Stacia scoffed, waiting a moment to follow the assassin. If he could be bought, he was not to be trusted. She froze, sensing movement half a block away. Not surprised, Stacia sighed again, as she would have to cover for Anvil's carelessness. Sliding quietly down the alley, she noted that her mark had retreated. They were careful. And quick. At least she would get to play a little. Using her mandra, she dashed through the alleyways like a shadow and halted face to face with the snoop. A young girl, who couldn't be more than 12, with dirt covering her face and short black hair, froze before her. Stacia paused. The girl reminded Stacia of herself. And normally, Stacia would have scared the girl and let her go. But unfortunately, the girl had been in the wrong place with the wrong information. A faint echo of concern, or what should have been concern, crossed her chest. Her heart no longer carried such worries, but Stacia snorted at her, the remaining vestiges of her conscience. The girl's eyes widened in fear, while the rest of her body remained frozen. Stacia would have to make her death appear natural. It wasn't malicious. Stacia couldn't risk exposure yet. A second mark retreated a few blocks away. Stacia kept the girl in place while she bounded away. 5 seconds later, she captured a mud-splotched youth and brought him back to the girl. Let's make this quick. Who do you work for? Stacia asked. The girl tightened her lips, but the pale boy said, The bear. How appropriate.